let's welcome these guys here, spawning at the bottom left corner of the map. It is the blue Terran player playing for Good Game Gaming. Give it up for Dream. And spawning here at the top right, we have our red Terran player playing for Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Make some noise for Keir. Alrighty, so we're going to go ahead and begin game number 1 here on Pillars of Gold and then losers picks first. But look at what we have here. We actually have ourselves a little bit of a cheeky play coming out of Keir, yeah. But Dream, on the other hand, where's his barracks? Okay, there we go. Barracks is right hidden at the top area. So a little bit of tomfoolery going on here to begin this series. And Cynical Death saying Snoopy and Acontistas going hard today. Unfortunately, Acontistas wasn't able to make it into this series, as he has some other stuff that is preoccupying his time, so unable to join us for this second series between Keir and Dream. But we always love Acontistas. Hope you guys are okay with having me. We might actually have Pastor take over maybe a little bit an hour in, as he was the original caster for this. Of course, I'm just kind of sitting on standby. You know what? I gotta say, usually all puppies and dogs are kind of on standby. You know, they're man best friends. They're just there to just assist their best friend. And that's what I'm kind of here to do, guys. All right, so a little bit of non-scouting by both players, I don't believe. Let's go ahead and take a vision here. Yeah, no vision for both of these players, actually. Reaper, the first initial Reaper from Dream, gonna be making his way into the main base of Keir. That's gonna signal Keir to go ahead and start attacking. And there's really not much to defend. I mean, Reapers and Hellions kind of tickle Marauders. And oh my god, even throwing down the bunker to even prevent the SCV surround. Of course, he can lower the depot and get the surround that way. But yeah, that is a pretty witty move here by Dream. Unfortunately, his SCV will get gunned down, so this bunker won't be able to finish. But at the very least, it provides high ground vision. But so far, some nice micro will be able to pick off some of these SCVs and units. The Reaper wasn't able to really get much done at the other side, so we'll go home and help with the defense. But let's see here, 8 SCVs, 1 Reaper going down, while there is 2 SCVs going down, as well as 3 Marauders. Make that 4th Marauder, as this Marauder gets totally surrounded. And I gotta say, who did that favor? I would say 8 SCVs is pretty good damage, but 4 Marauders is pretty good cleanup as well. You know what? I'm gonna say Keir, because 8 SCVs during this early game before the 4-minute mark, much more damaging compared to, let's say, 4 or 8 SCVs going down at, like, let's say the 12-minute mark, right? So, you know, the more SCVs that goes down in the early game is much more damaging compared to if, let's say, the damage or the workers were killed at the mid to late game. Alright, some more Marauder harass here coming out of Keir. Man, this Marauder has made its way down into the nitty-gritty of the Terran base here. Let's see if we can get some additional SCV kills. The majority of the units for Keir is actually across the map. Some reinforcement popping out will be able to finally clean up, but before losing another SCV. And that is going to give the SCV worker lead to Keir, 27 to 24. Not a huge disparity, but still pretty good damage. And what started out to be a little chaotic has suddenly turned out to be a more normal game, as both players are going to go ahead and start focusing on their macro and the tech. Looks like the Banshee tech will be coming out of Dream. Of course, that will get spotted by this tech lab, unfortunately. But Keir did have the Raven on the way, so he would have been able to have detection, and also had 2 Cyclones to defend each base. So that Banshee, even if it was not spotted, don't think it was gonna do too much damage. Although, so, as I say that, you know, there are games where even if the Banshee gets scouted, they somehow, some way manage to get a decent amount of damage still. But I fully expect that this Banshee will be pretty useless, and you can tell Dream has stopped producing these Banshees. Only made one. Didn't even have Cloak, I don't believe. Yeah, no Cloak was researched there by Dream, so an uncloak 1 Banshee, not going to do too much damage, especially with the turret there, with the Cyclone and Raven. I mean, Keir has this on lockdown. This is like an anti-Banshee zone at the main base. Alright, so far, the Dirt Command Center has started for Keir. Looks like Dream will not be too far behind on that front. But with these 3 tanks here, he might be looking to go ahead and start containing Keir at his side. Now, if Keir lets Dream gets the positioning, it's going to be really hard to break through, right? Because that is a 1 small choke area. So you can kind of park the tank here, here, and here. And get some reinforcement, maybe even throw down some bunker or some turrets or something. That could actually be that could kind of contain Keir for quite a long time. It's going to be really hard for him to get and establish that dirt base of his. All right, so the sieging has started up here. Oh, a little bit unfortunate. This 3 tank setup does prevent the Marines from coming up. Or are they skinny enough to go through? Okay, well, at least one of the tanks get killed or gunned down, so that makes space for these Marines to march on up. But so far, it's just kind of a siege versus siege battle. Let's see what Keir does to somehow, some way, break free of this. He might actually need to pull those SCVs to tank some of these siege tank damages. Oh, that tank a little bit close on by. More reinforcements streaming across the map here for the Blue Terran in Dream. And this command center, this orbital command, getting quite low here. Going to force some of these SCVs to repair. And slowly but surely, Dream is just pulling ahead on the work count. This, even if Dream, you know, just backs off at this point, I think he has done enough damage to suffice this. Oh my god, even letting that orbital die, he forgot to repair. I wasn't even paying attention to that. That is such a huge pickoff. Oh man, now Keir is down to 2 command center versus the 3 of the Dream. A little bit of a blunder there, forgetting to repair your command center. And this is all in. I mean, Keir cannot win the long game, so he needs to use this period to break free. Oh man, but that is a lot of tank fire there. 20 SCVs going down, but at the very least he does break free. I mean, he might as well just bring his own SCVs at this point. I mean, it's going to be awfully hard to crawl himself back into this game. I mean, 63 workers to 24. The only advantage that Keir has at this stage is in the army supply. He is 10 ahead in the army supply. Let's take a look at the units right now. 7 tanks compared to 2 tanks of Dream. So yeah, this is it. Keir is gonna have to win this game in the next few minutes or so, or else Dream is just gonna pull way ahead with his economic lead. The tank count is so in his favor. And this is a good start, clearing out some of these tanks. And And this might be the snowball effect that the Vikings are going to be forced to land in order to help defend. He might want to go ahead and drop down the mule. Some of these tanks are actually pretty low in the life. But this is not quite enough damage. He needs to do more. Alright, he's going to go ahead and do the slow push of death. And the SCVs are pulled for Dream. He might want to pull some onto from the dirt base. But is it enough? I think he just has... Yeah, he does have enough with the Vikings as well. And that clears it. And that does it. Dream is... Dream is going to go ahead and take a game 1 victory with a unceremonious pause there. Of course, this is not BM pause, I'm sure. I'm sure it's a little bit of a mistake there. Alright, let's go ahead and let's fix this overlay. Just bear with me. Alright. Let's go ahead and fix that. Yep, there we go. Let's enlarge my cute Snoopy picture there. Alright, let me go ahead and also place my name tag as well, so that people know who I am. Again, just doing this on the fly, guys, so just bear with me. Alright, there we go. That looks much better. Alright, so looks like we have ourselves a map choice of submarine. Interesting. We don't really see a lot of submarine map choices in the early stages. I don't think it's like a player's favorite, so quite interesting to see that he chose submarine. All right. So looks like we have our player confirmation. Awesome. All right. So heading to submarine. And looks like Dream is ahead 1-0. By the way, guys, we do have a Matcherino page for this event. If you type in !Matcherino into the chat, that shall bring up the Matcherino link as well as the coupon code where you can contribute 50 cents absolutely free to the prize pool. Make sure to use up all those codes, guys. Matcherino is such a great tool to help support the esports scene. Let's go ahead and take full advantage of it. If you don't even have a Matcherino, it's very, very easy to make. You can log in with your Twitch account, your Microsoft account, your Blizzard account, either maybe I think your Google account as well. Many ways to create an account and start using those coupon codes, guys. So thank you Pewy11 for typing !Matcherino. As you can see, the Matcherino URL as well as the code. Very, very easy to use. So make sure to use that. And what do we have? Actually, let's go ahead before we even start in this game. Let's introduce our players here. I even forgot. Spawning at the top left, we have the blue Terran player playing for Good Game Gaming. Give it up for Dream. And let me go ahead and actually update the scoreboard. 1-0. There we go. And spawning here at the bottom right, we have our red Terran player playing for Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Give it up for Keir. And you know what the saying goes, if at first you don't succeed, I guess try and try again. And this time around, not proxying with 1 Rex, but 2 Rex instead. Gonna be a Reaper Rush instead of a Marauder. Ah, this is pretty interesting, changing it up. But ooh, what do we have here? Dream going for 1 base instead, so... I mean, on paper, it does favor Dream a bit because he is on 1 base. He's doesn't have a command center on the way, and so yeah. And also, you know, the 2 Rex are proxied at the other side. So if Keir does not, you know, is not successful with this attack, he's gonna have to wait till his barracks fly all the way back home, and so that's gonna delay the reactor, the tech lab, all that stuff. And so, yeah, I would say on paper, Dream does have the advantage here, but of course it does all come down to micro and execution, right? You could have the correct setup, then the perfect setup, but you need to have the perfect finish in order to close out the game. So here we go. The first initial Reaper. We'll take the 1 SCVs, make that 2 SCVs. Oh, actually, yep, 2 SCVs, make that 3. And so far, so good here. Alright, 4 Reapers here out on the field. Of course, that Hellion is going to be pose a little bit of a threat, a little bit of a problem here for Keir. Of course, the SCVs can't be pulled to repair the Hellion if he needs to do so. But this is going to be a point where... Oh, actually, going to go down here a little bit risky, but looks like he feels safe enough to do so. And the chase is on, guys. These Hellions adding so much splash damage, firepower. That's going to decrease the Reaper amount, and the momentum of Keir has drastically decreased. And if a Dream decides to go across the map, especially with that medevac micro that he can potentially use, it could just completely snowball in Dream's favor. So Keir's got to be careful. He's going to have to make a Cyclone. Okay, there we go. Cyclone is about to pop out. And as you can see, the Rax taking its slow time to ferry across the land, searching far and wide. Oh man, these Reapers so slick there, just bypassing the entire army of Dream. We might actually have ourselves a little bit of a awkward situation where both these players' armies are on the other side. Ooh, nice tank firepower right there. But he is just going to totally ignore it. Go straight into the mineral line. Same as Keir. Oh, actually gets completely surrounded and does clean it up. Alright, so let's see who came out ahead. You know what? I gotta say, pretty even there. A little bit more damage by Dream, but that kind of makes up for the initial SCVs that he lost in the early game to those Reapers. So all in all, pretty even games thus far, I would say. Although, yeah, actually, you know what? Pretty even. I wouldn't say one player is massively further ahead compared to the other one. So, Dante in the chat saying, I love medevac healing of Reapers. You know what? I am going to agree with you too. I mean, Reaper heals perfectly well on their own, but you add another... Oh, actually, let's hold that thought. That Raven going down, that is actually going to be pretty huge. That Raven could have actually used the interference matrix on one of these tanks, which would have made this attack much more effective. So actually losing that Reaper, that's going to shut down this push here by Dream effectively. And yes, Daunted, F for that Raven. That poor Raven there. Let's see here, units tab. You know what? Even though losing that Reaper, or not Reaper, losing that Raven was bad, he's still ahead on the Raven count, so that's pretty good. But he does have a Banshee to contend with, and that Banshee is going to go ahead and go ham onto the mineral line. But with the Raven and Cyclone, his days are numbered. But he does pick off 6 SCVs, so still worth it. 1 Banshee for 6 SCVs, I think he should be happy with that. And that is going to give Keir a massive lead in the worker supply. And that is going to be huge because this is not a TVZ or a TVP where worker supply differences are actually not as important. You're talking about a mirror matchup. So both these players has the same macro mechanics. So that actually is more devastating in terms of the worker deficiency and discrepancy. But yeah, I think with 4 tanks, I'm not going to be able to break through. Dream is going to have to pull a rabbit out of his hat in order to make up for this worker supply difference here. Especially since Keir does have his third base, the third CC. Dream just hasn't even started as he is still kind of reeling from all that Banshee harass. Still trying to saturate his natural there. Oh, thank you, Daunted, for the subscription to the channel. Appreciate it, my man. Daunted, such a old school supporter here. Love you. Alright, so looks like Dream kind of biding his time, keeping his units across the map, trying to keep Keir from moving out, going straight across the map. Because theoretically, I think he can just kind of push forward through the middle. Although he's just kind of waiting to establish his third base and maybe add in some more marine buffer, because his majority of his armies is in those tanks, and you need some buffer to make sure that they're protected. So waiting for some additional marine reinforcements, not the worst thing. And also he just started combat shield. It might have been I think it might have been a little bit of a mistake or maybe purposeful, but his combat shield is pretty late. So probably best to just wait for it. Start making some medevacs, and then by the time combat shield is finished, I think he has a strong enough army to just go across the map. Dante says in the chat, I was almost sure Keir was going mech for the longest time. I got bamboozled. You know what? I was also wondering if he was going to go mech, because remember, he did have the 2 proxy racks in the beginning. Didn't do quite much with it. He needed to wait for the racks to fly across back at home. So sometimes you will see Terran players just forget their rack to just use 1 rack to scout instead, and then just go straight into mech. But you know what? He is going to go to the standard Terran army of tanks and marines here. Alright, so we're going to have ourselves a little bit of a standstill here by these players. Let's see how many tanks for both players. 9 for Keir, 6 for Dream. Pretty even on the Raven and Viking count, so no crazy advantage for either players on that end in terms of the air army. But the tank count is still going to be ahead for Keir for the time being. And I gotta say, you know, Dream hasn't done too badly in terms of keeping up with his army production. The thing I worry about is that, again, let's take a look at the income graph. Just soaring high for Keir as he's ahead by 13 workers now. But of course, in the Terran versus Terran matchup, being down by a couple of supply, like 30 supply to say right now, actually isn't the worst thing. I mean, you can have a really great engagement and erase that completely. So we shall see how Keir actually engages into Dream's army. So far, Dream is doing a nice tank spread there. Really slowing down this attack, by the way. Alright, let me go ahead and bring up the production tab once again. And, oh, you know what? Interesting that Dream is actually taking the 4th base before Keir is. So he's going a little bit greedy here to kind of catch back up. This does mean that Dream has to defend more areas, though. And Keir does get the first siege up. So we'll be able to cancel that 4th base. Pretty good cancel there. And, ooh, this 1 Marine, though. If it does go unintended, should be able to pick up a lot of SCVs. Actually picking up a lot of SCVs here. 7 kills, 7 SCVs. Wow. Give a badge of honor to that Marine. He died very, very honorably, I gotta say. And now Keir has his 4th base established. And Dream is going to have to restart his command center once again. Let's, as you can see, the army supply size just going up and up and further up for Keir here. A bunch of sensor towers going down for both players here. So they're going to be very wary of their army positioning. Of course, that is very important in terms of siege tank positioning. Making sure your siege tanks are sieged up before your opponents get into position. And that might be actually be the way for Dream to hold on long enough to get to a 200 versus 200 army battle. Right now, Keir is maxed out, but Dream still halfway there. Or not halfway, 50 more supply to go to be maxed out. If he can kind of go for a 200 versus 200 army, get the huge battle win, that kind of changes everything. Dream, who has been in the back foot this entire game, could theoretically be in the driver's seat from that point forward. But that's a big if. And I say big if because look at the upgrade lead here for Keir. Oh, actually, yeah. Keir has the 2-2 upgrades versus the 1-1 of Dream. So that's going to be really important because Marine with 2-2 versus 1-1, that DPS is going to hit very hard. And here we go. Keir is going to go ahead and start exploiting some of these openings here. But still, nice siege tank positioning by Dream. This command center is going to go under siege, get sniped down. There's really nothing that Dream can do about it. And yeah, Dream not able to establish his 4th base is going to go ahead and GG out. So very well done there by Keir. We'll tie up the series 1-1. Awesome play by both players, I gotta say. But you know what? Keir was pretty much ahead throughout the entire game. He was kind of in the driver's seat. So, you know, he just kind of made sure that Dream didn't get out of control. You know, make sure his 4th base was on lockdown. Wasn't able to... I mean, Dream was just never able to establish his 4th base. And that's what you want to do when you're ahead. Alright, so... tied series 1-1. We're going to head into game number 3 on the map of Death Aura. Awesome. Bitterwood in the chat saying Keir bringing the cure to the lack of entertainment. I like that nice pun there, Bitterwood. I approve. It's sushi. I mean, not sushi approved. Well, actually, it might be sushi approved, but it's definitely Snoopy approved. I love me some puns, so bring on the puns. All right, here we go, guys. Game number 3 on Death Aura. Spawning here at the bottom right. Playing for the team of Good Game Gaming. Is the blue Terran. It is Dream. And spawning here at the top left. Playing for the team of Dragon Phoenix Gaming. He's the red Terran player. Make some noise and put your hands together for Keir. Alright, so the past 2 games, Keir going for the proxy. This time around, besides, nope, I am not going to go for the proxy. Going to change it up. be as unpredictable as much as possible. Now, in both games, Dream did go for the 1 base though. So let's see if he does go for 1 base once again. No second gas here, so that kind of indicates to me that he might be dropping down the CC very soon. So 1 base, or not 1 base, 1 Rax expand. Keir, on the other hand, he is going to go ahead for a 2 gas. Let's see what he invests in with these gas mining. We should see the factory being thrown down pretty soon here. Keir is going to go ahead and get a nice full scout, see what's up. And I gotta say, it's a pretty risky build, pretty risky build here coming out of Dream, considering that he got proxied in the previous 2 games. So mind you, he got proxied in the previous 2 games. He has not scouted yet, and he's still going for that 1 Rax into CC. So he has some danger fire in his blood right now. But on the other hand, let's see here. Keir is going to go ahead and drop down his CC. So a little bit of a tech advantage coming out of Keir. So on the other hand, Dream will have the nice economic lead. Little bit of a economic lead for the time being here. Although the worker supply is still pretty close together, but mind you that CC of Dream will be much more faster, as well as the orbital, of course. Let me go ahead and just quickly increase the music a little bit. Love me some StarCraft music there. And yeah, we have ourselves a little bit of a slow early game compared to the previous 2 games, which were a bit more, I guess, intense in the early game. As both players are kind of just macroing up, making sure they're building up their tech. No engineering bay being thrown down thus far. So none of these players are focused on the upgrades for the time being, but yeah, much more important to make sure you get, your productions up, get your natural saturated. Now both players has gone for the 1-1-1 build here. And there's still a potential that one of these players are going to just go on full-on mech. But no buildings has been thrown down yet. And you know what? Actually, yeah, this is a very high chance that these guys might go for mech, because so far these racks has not been interchanged with these tech labs. No stim, no combat shoot has been researched yet. But I guess both of these players are just trying to go for the third CC, so lack of minerals to be throwing down these racks if they decide to choose, if they decide to go to that route. But yeah, gonna have ourselves a little bit of a slow pace game to start off with. Nothing much going down. Let's see, what's the vision here? Yeah, both of these players just doesn't have actually no vision. And you know what? I would say it might not be a bad thing for them to just send their Raven across the map and throw down some auto turrets in the mineral line. I mean, there's really nothing much going on here. They both has kind of, I guess both of them has not really confirmed that the other player has gone for Banshee tech, so they're keeping their Raven back at home. But I think if they did see that there was no Banshee play coming out, that they would just send their Raven across the map and do those auto turret harass. Because really there's nothing much they can do in terms of a full frontal attack. Both players got tanks. at the very best, it's going to be just be a contain of some sort, or a siege between both players. So might as well hit the back door with these ravens, right? And you know, Raven auto turret play used to be more prevalent. Of course, it has been decreased in terms of the amount of times, or I guess there has been a decrease in the meta. Oh, actually, let's hold that thought. There is a Banshee that did get 4 SCVs. Sorry, I missed that. But as I was saying, there's really not much going on, so you might as well go through the back door and try to get some economic harassment, whether it's with a Banshee or whether it's with these ravens. But as I was saying, like, the auto turret Raven play has not been quite in the meta as often as it has been in the past, and that's mainly because the auto turrets, their time were decreased. They're more powerful, but their time were decreased compared to the before, where their damage output was a little bit less, but the duration time was a lot longer. So that's a little bit of a change there that was done by Blizzard. Alright, so let's take a look at the units lost tab. As you can see, not a lot of units and resources lost, as both players hasn't really gone too aggressive here. But as these production ramps up, as these economy ramps up, I fully expect that one of these players are gonna, or at least both of these players, or at least one of these players, will start going ahead and try to find an opening to abuse. But with these sensor towers, it might actually make it a bit difficult. Alright, Keir is going to go ahead and initiate a double medevac drop. There's no turrets here at the natural. There is one tank parked there. The reinforcements are being lined up, so... Oh, actually, you know what? Keir is going to just go ahead and drop here to try to deny a potential 4th base. Alright, combat shield almost done here for Keir. Looks like Keir is going to go ahead and try to potentially dive on, but does get scanned and scouted. Dream will place his tanks in position to defend. And yeah, I feel like this might actually go on to the super late game, because these players are just paying so much respect to one another. Seems like you're just going ahead and try to establish their 4th base. And you know, the first initial 4 bases are easier to take and to establish. The 5th base, once it gets to the 5th base and the 6th base, it gets much harder. So that's maybe when, you know, both players are going to go ahead and try to attempt to shut down those 5th and 6th bases. And here we go, a little bit of a skirmish here, but not too much, as this army, this group of infantry, are just mainly Marines. So far, upgrades are being kept up by both players. 1-1, 2-2 is on the way. Looks like 2-2 is going to be a tad bit faster here for Dream, actually, but Keir's not going to be lagging too far behind. And look at what we have here. Dream going to go on full on air. And I like this because he recognizes that really there's nothing has been going on throughout this entire game. So if he's going to play this passively, you can kind of get a little bit greedy and either take more bases or get greedy on the tech path. So throwing down those extra starports. As you can see, a bunch of them going down. Also for Keir, he recognizes the same thing. So yeah, we might have ourselves a battle cruiser or Viking parade coming very soon, but we shall see. Alright, let's take a look at the income graph. Yeah, not too much economic harass by both players, so it's kind of been spiking back and forth. Nothing, nobody being favored too much. Worker counts are also kind of even, 80 to 82. And then, of course, if you include those meals, it's gonna be pretty even by both players. You know, this would be a great time to actually throw down a poll of some sort if there was such a feature to see who you guys are gonna be predicting to win this game 3, because this game has been just absolutely even throughout this whole game. It's kind of hard to tell who's gonna come out on top at this point, because both players have even amount of workers, even amount of I guess production buildings in terms of the starports. They just going crazy on the sensor towers here. They got the left and right side absolutely covered. 3 apiece. You know what? Might as well throw down the 4th, right? But yeah, they're just taking their sooner or later they're gonna take the rest of their half of the map. There's only there's 4 mineral patches bases still opened, so I wouldn't be surprised if they start just throw down some mass command center. Now it's not that in that stage where both players have a banked amount of resources. They're approaching their max right now, max supply, so only now will the banks start accruing. So this might be a good time to start throwing down mass command centers, mass production buildings, so that you can kind of replenish your army, because there's going to be a big battle happening very soon, and you want to replenish your army as quickly as possible. You know, it's very easy for Zerg to do so because of their larva mechanics. Protoss can also kind of works the same, where you throw down a bunch of gateways and kind of warp in a lot. Terran players also needs to throw down a lot of production buildings to make sure they replenish and produce their units very quickly and efficiently. And Bitterwood in the chat saying, spoiler alert, the winner will be Terran. And you know what? You're absolutely correct. The winner will be a Terran player. Alright. Might be a good thing to kind of start opening up these rocks. It's going to create additional pathway for either of these players to go through. And here we go. A bunch of Dorito cannons being thrown down. Much more anti-armor missile being connected here for Dream, as Keir's Viking count was a little bit bunched up, but nothing too shabby. Yes, Bitterwood. Doritos for everyone. You get a Dorito. You get Doritos. Everybody get a Dorito. I don't know about you guys, but my favorite Doritos are either the cheese one or the ranch. I like the ranch as well. They're my favorite flavors. And, you know, being that both of these players are red and blue, it's kind of... Because, you know, if you know the cheese Dorito bags, they're colored in red, while the ranch Dorito bags are colored in blue. So this makes absolutely perfect sense. Daunted likes the red hot spicy flavor. Ooh, I'm not huge on spice, so that's why I don't usually get the spicy one. But that does sound delicious for sure. All right, let's see the units lost tab. Once again, not a lot. A lot of Marines lost actually, but nothing much elsewhere, as both players are establishing their half of the map. There's still one more base left open here for Dream. if Keir can actually secure this with these tanks, that actually changes things a little bit, because he's going to be able to mine more, which means he's able to lose more. He can be a little. He has more leeway to be a little bit more inefficient with his trades, right? So Dream definitely does not want Keir to let Keir take this 9 o'clock base that's still left wide open, and yeah, both players are just, oh my god, how many ravens is that? 13 ravens compared to the 12 of Keir. That's a lot of ravens. My goodness. The thing I do like is that Dream is going into battlecruiser production. You want to start trading out some of these marines and tanks for battlecruisers, because spoiler alert, battlecruisers are a pretty good unit. They're very tanky. They very mobile with their blink or their teleport ability. And oh, here we go. I have absolutely no idea what is happening, and just so much going down here. Anti-armor missile being thrown out, auto turrets being thrown out, Vikings on Vikings. But it seems like Keir has kind of gotten the edge in this fight, slowly but surely inching forward to that command center, forcing possibly Dream to just sack this space, and going to pull out some of these SCVs to start repairing. And as you can see, this is going to be a huge point of contention, as that's the one remaining base left open is onto to that left side, the very left side. And oh my god, this has been, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like this has been, I can't remember a game where this has been so much auto turret, or not auto turrets, sensor towers. I feel like this is the most sensor towers I've seen in quite some time. And here we go, battlecruiser are going to go ahead and make their way and make their play here onto the right side. He's got to be careful, because Keir does have a lot of Vikings and Ravens. If those Ravens get those interference matrix, they're not gonna be able to teleport away. So as you can see, scans are being thrown out ahead to make sure he doesn't encounter a bunch of Vikings. And yeah, Dream's gotta be careful. Oh, don't want to lose these battle cruisers. What's happening? Gotta teleport out. Oh man, losing 2 battle cruisers here. Dream is going to be focused fire onto this left side. That might explain why he was kind of preoccupied and not focusing on the battle cruiser. But yeah, looks like Dream has actually found an opening here. 16 workers going down. Now, of course, at this stage, 16 workers, you know, it's not the worst thing. You can see he's still keeping up with 64 workers. It's all about the mules. So the SCV number aren't quite important. Of course, you want to have some SCVs to mine the gas, but you could use the rest of the orbitals to throw down those mules. So not the most important of losses. Alright, some nice interference, anti-armor missiles going down on those Vikings. It's going to force a Dream to go back, or to retreat back for the time being. And he's going to start establishing that 9 o'clock base, but earlier on, of course, that 3 o'clock base was freed up, so Keir might want to go ahead and start establishing that. I'm going to go harass here with these 3 match fits of battle cruisers, but Vikings will be able to scare them away. And still, it is a 200 versus 200 army. So really, anything can happen still. Both these players can still come out ahead. The bank for both players is actually pretty even as well. So, I mean, all the upgrades. Well, actually, you know what? The air upgrades are more in favor of Keir there. So Dream might want to go ahead and start keeping up with that. And here we go. A bunch of anti-armor missiles going down. A lot of these Marines getting clumped up against these tanks here. Interference matrix will go ahead and shut down the tanks of Keir. And as you can see, reflected in the supply, Dream pulling ahead in the overall supply, the army supply as well. He's already has the worker lead, and now Keir is on the back foot. Oh man, a lot of these starport productions is here right on underneath these battlecruisers and Vikings. So once these Ravens pops out, they're gonna meet their immediate death. But as you can see, these battlecruisers are gonna go ahead and teleport on top of these battlecruisers. It might be time for Dream to teleport out. Is his teleport on cooldown? A lot of these battlecruisers are low in life. He needs to make sure these he keeps them safe. Oh man. The chase is on. There's still a lot of Vikings left over for Dream, but these battlecruisers are gonna possibly get away. Oh no, they turn back to try to fight. No, they gotta get repaired. Oh man. A lot of these turrets being thrown down by Dream in order to make sure that Keir doesn't overextend. You know, these tanks are gonna be vulnerable temporarily to these battlecruisers as the rest of Dream's battlecruisers are getting repaired. More reinforcement, Marine reinforcement is going to clear out the rest of these tanks. So a little bit of a chaotic play by both players. But all in all, saving these battlecruisers is so huge. Now he can repair them, keeping up with the supply, continuously getting banking those resources. But you know what? Both players are going to go ahead and split the map once again. Absolutely utter chaotic moment there, as a as Bitterwood says in chat. Thank you Tamoy50 for the spell, the stay safe spell. And yes, these battlecruisers gotta stay safe. Speaking of staying safe, but yeah, I actually am liking Dream's army. Actually, overall, he is replenishing his army with a lot of these battlecruisers and Vikings, while Keir, his majority of his army is in these Marines, which I don't like. Once you get to the latter stages, mass Marines just not gonna quite cut it. Usually the players will have enough tanks and battlecruisers to tank those. And as you can see, 7 battlecruisers. Oh, actually, you know what? The battlecruiser count is pretty even. But there are so much more Ravens, or not Ravens, more Vikings here. It seems. Actually, you know, he's keeping up. Actually, you know what? All of a sudden, actually a pretty even army by both players. So still anyone's game, and we're approaching the 25-minute mark, and I still have no idea who's gonna win. This is absolutely chaotic. This is a game of 3 macro game, guys. This is how it's done. TVT can actually often come to a very late macro game, and there we go. Absolutely everything going down with these orange Dorito. These Dorito missiles. Looks like Dream will take the favorable end. But actually, you know what? Keir's battlecruisers wasn't joined up in the fight as they were harassing here down below, and will take out that command center. No, does not quite take out the command center. That command center just survives just at the last minute repairs. And here we go. Battlecruiser is going to go ahead and teleport on top of Dream's battlecruisers, and the rest of these Vikings will finally catch back up. I'm still gonna say it's looking pretty good for Dream here. A lot of these battlecruisers going down. The Vikings just might be the difference, actually. Yeah, the rest of the Marines get on top of the army of Keir and absolutely crushing the rest of Keir's army. There is no more bank left over for Keir. There's still more bank here for Dream, and I think that does it. That has pretty much sealed the deal here for Dream. He is up by twice the amount of supply of Keir, and it's just a matter of time. I mean, maybe a miracle can happen, but still, I think Dream will need several, or not Dream, Keir. Excuse me, Keir will need several miracles because he is down by quite a large amount of supply. Let's go ahead and bring up the production tab once again. And thank you, Destined One, for the St. Patrick spell. Yes, St. Patrick has come upon us. And guys, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna admit it, I cannot wait for my Shamrock Shake. Yes, every year McDonald's has those Shamrock Shake during St. Patty's Day, and I cannot wait to get my hands on some. But for the time being, it looks like the Dream will be heading into McDonald's with a victory. He will have his Shamrock victory. And this is the last stand for Keir. He has nothing, absolutely nothing left over. Just a bunch of Marines compared to Dream, which he still has a bunch of tanks, still has those Vikings and Ravens. Even adding in those doors for a good measure. And boy, what a game number 3 that was. Dream will take the victory. My goodness. What an absolutely killer game right there. Ooh, what a GG. Alright, let's see what the map of choice will be for our game number 4. As I take a sip of water, because that game was long as hell. Let's see how long that was. That was a 28-minute game right there. My goodness. Alright, Light Shade it will be. Alright, let's see here. Dream asking for a 1-minute pause. Daunted in the chat saying Snoopy is great as always, such stamina. Thank you, Daunted. Appreciate it, my man. Yeah, I'm gonna have to admit I'm not the best solo caster. I feel like I feel like I do much better with in terms of a duo cast. But you know what? I'm gonna hold strong or at least until maybe Pastor comes along. But if Pastor doesn't come along, then all is good. All right, looks like both players are ready. So let's go ahead and begin the countdown. All right, so it looks like Dream will head into game number 4 here with a 2-1 lead. Let's see if Keir can kind of bring this game back. Thank you again, Daunted, for bringing up the Matchino. Yes, we just another reminder. We do have a Matchino page for this event. Just quickly head on over there as this game begins. Enter the coupon code AX314 to add in 50 cents for free. Make sure to use all those coupon codes, as is absolutely free money for these players. So let's go ahead and begin with our first player introduction, spawning here at the bottom right. He is the blue Terran player, representing the team of Good Game Gaming. It is the Dream. And spawning here at the top left, he is the red Terran player, playing for Dragon Phoenix Gaming, hailing from Korea, looking to tie up the series. Can he do it? It is Keir. All right, so the first 2 games, Keir went for the cheese, the proxy. Third game, he actually did not go for the proxy, but this time around, bringing the proxy back once more. Now this is a longer proxy route, so I don't think this is going to be too committed. I don't think this is going to be a oh, actually, as I say that, he does throw down the tech lab, so it's going to be once again that Marauder push. Unfortunately for him, Dream gonna go ahead and open up with a 1 base 2 gas opening. Remember last game, or I guess it was on the Death Aura. Yeah, Death Aura. I forgot whether it was Dream or I think it was Dream. Yeah, that went for the 1 base 1 racks into expansion. This time around, going for the 1 base 2 gas opening here. So on paper, it does favor Dream a bit, because again, he has a better defensive posture. And so I don't see these Marauders doing as much. But he might still be able to do significant amount of damage, because this proxy has yet been scouted. So Dream is still very much in the dark. And when you get your, when you get caught with your pants down, it's a very, very ugly sight. I pray that none of you have to ever get caught with your pants down. Alright, Marauders will go ahead and take down these initial Reapers. Getting some nice damage. Gonna force some of these SCVs to be pulled to repair. It's gonna also further delay this expansion from going up. As you can see, Keir preparing to go ahead and plot down his command center very soon. Oh my god, even adding a Hellion to this? Wow, that's going to add some additional splash time. Oh, gets around it though with these SCVs. A little bit of a missed micro there, as he was mainly focused on microing his Marauders. And you know what? That might have been the right call, because these 2 Marauders are still alive and a bunch of SCVs going down. This Widowmine is going to probably trigger a sacrifice of one of these Marauders. Or maybe he's just going to go ahead and just kind of bypass it. No, actually going to go ahead and... Oh, nice little micro there. Does lift off the Widowmine. Some micro back and forth. But these 2 Marauders still dealing a lot of damage. And this... Oh my god, this command center still not finished. Will he just force the cancel? I can't imagine so. I would even sacrifice a few SCVs to just get it up. He can't afford to lose that command center. That is his trump card to possibly come back and make up for all the lost SCVs. But it might not even come down to that, as the Cyclone joins up to the party. And where is the Dream's army? Absolutely nothing here for Dream, and he might actually lose this command center. Well, actually, you know what? He does at the very least lift off, or force a lift off. He's gonna have to repair it, but there's still not a lot to answer for this Cyclone and Marauder. And unbeknownst to him, Keir is going to back off. He could have actually gone up here and possibly just cleaned up the rest of these Widowmine and Marines. Of course, he doesn't have high ground vision, so he wants to be a little bit cautious. But at the very least, keeping up with this contain while he gets his natural up and running here. And as you can see already, enjoying a 11 worker supply lead. Nice little scan there. Will scout the high ground. Also allow him to go ahead and scout the tech lab on this starport, and GG, the snowball effect has been successful, and Keir will tie up the series 2-2 in this best of 9 here. So well done by Keir. Alright, let's see what map Dream will decide to go for. I believe Romanticide is still left over. Oxide as well. Jagannatha, I don't think we played on there. But yeah, since this is a best of 9, and we only have 7 ladder maps, after the 7th game, if it reaches that point, We'll have a reset of the map. Alright, looks like Oxide will be our next map. And we're going to get started very soon. As you can hear in the background, the countdown has begun. Alright, here we go. Spawning here at the top right. Rocking the blue paint. Playing for the team of Good Game Gaming. It is Dream. Spawning here at the bottom left. He's rocking the red paint. And playing for Dragon Phoenix Gaming. It is Keir. Alright, so we have ourselves a tied series here, 2-2. Whoever wins this obviously will go ahead and take the series lead. But this is the best of 9, so still plenty of opportunities for either of these players. Even if they lose this game, it's not going to be in match point, so still plenty of opportunities for them to adapt to their opponents. And very important to adapt to your opponents in a long series like this. In the best of 3, of course, it's going to be much easier. You know, you might do a cheesy build, catch your opponent off guard, and get the series lead there, and then just win one more game. But in a long series like this, it's more, I guess, reflective of the player's skill at that particular time. And you know, that kind of reminds me, if you guys know about the NFL and the NBA. So the NFL is the National Football League. Here in America, football is not the soccer football, but the American football. So they have the Super Bowl, and their playoffs are all best of ones. So in the first round of the playoffs and the second round, basically every round of the playoffs for the NFL is best of ones, while in the NBA it's all best of sevens. So in the Super Bowl, it's more likely that the best team, the actual best team, who may have the best record throughout the regular season, might not actually come out as the champion. Because in the best of one, anything really can happen. It's just who plays better on that specific Sunday, the day of the Super Bowl. While in the NBA, because it is the best of 9, it really tends to, or lends itself that the better team does win the series. Unbeknownst to any, other circumstances, usually the best team wins. And so, this is compared to here, which is the best of 9, not best of 7, but best of 9, where usually the better player wins on that day. Now, of course, if this took place on 9 different days, then that's a different story. Then I think usually the better player will win. But this is a best of 9, on a one particular day where one player might not playing or feeling their best. But who knows? It still also comes down to adapting to the strategy and the momentum of the series, of course. So anyhow, as I say that, looks like we do see a bit of a Reaper run by here, potentially. We'll be greeted with actually, no, he has a medevac there. So it's going to be a Widowmine drop of some sort. Let's see the reaction time of Keir. He does have a supply depot to spot this, so I would presume that he will be able to spot this very quickly. Yep, all the units. And oh, that was a little bit of a close call there. Oh, you can see him just targeting with that Widow Mine. At the same time, the Hellions will be making its way into the natural, getting some additional SCVs, and this is adding up quite high. 12 SCVs going down. Oh no. Keir wasn't able to protect his natural there as well. That's a lot of SCVs being sniped down. And Dream will take the worker lead, 35-28. Gonna immediately throw down his dirt CC, which is the smart thing, because a wise man once said, when ahead, get more ahead. And that's exactly what he's gonna go ahead and do. He's ahead in the worker count, so he's gonna go ahead and take the opportunity to throw down a dirt CC, as he knows that there's really not a lot that Keir can do at this stage. There is a siege tank for Dream, so you know, just a really great defensive type of unit. So throwing down that dirt CC, being a little bit extra greedy, is the smarter choice and the smarter decision. On the other side, though, Keir is still replenishing those lost SCVs, getting his stim. Now, oh, actually, you know what? A little bit of a later stim here by Dream, but he's not going to be attacking anytime soon, so that's all right. He's just focusing on his economy at this point, and then once the economy kicks in, he's going to be able to start the unit production up and running. And then by the time stim is finished, he should be ready to go to move out and put on the hurt. But looks like for the time being, Keir is going to be a little bit more aggressive, as he does really need to make a play here in order to make up for the lost SCVs from earlier on. So yeah, he's going to need some nice micro to exploit some of these openings by Dream. Unfortunately for him, there is a Cyclone. There are Vikings out here for Dream, so I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do too much damage with this drop. But at the very least, he should be very active. Oh, actually, you know what? He might be able to shut down this base here. Alright, a bunch of auto turrets to help buffer for this. And you know what? Dream actually having a little bit of a trouble maneuvering his army around here, but the rest of the medevacs has gone down. And so these Marines are... Oh, actually, you know what? 2 more medevacs. Oh, wait. I think he just went back with his medevac to get the rest of the reinforcements. And oh, these tanks absolutely completely vulnerable. No buffer to protect them. Keir is going to go ahead and get on top of them, completely wipe them out. And all of a sudden, Keir turns this entire game around. And so unfortunate for Dream there. He was in such great position to win that game, but a beautiful, beautiful attack coming out of Keir will go ahead and take the series lead at 3-2. And that is the risk you take for taking the third base at that bottom position. Not only does it allow you to siege up onto that third base, but also attack the main base at the same time. So you have to wonder, maybe it would have been better for him to just expand towards the 12 o'clock base or so. But yeah, just a very unfortunate for Dream there, kind of letting that game go. Alright, so it looks like our next map will be on Jagannatha, which means that the last map that has been played on is on... Which map was that? I think it was Romanticide. I think it's the last map. I don't recall. I've been casting for the past couple of hours, so I've been playing. I've been casting on a bunch of different maps, and I can't keep up with. Okay, Signal of Death. Thank you for the reminder. So the last map will be on Romanticide here. All right, so let me go ahead and bring up the game screen. Let me go ahead and update the scoreboard. Keir with the 3-2 lead. Oh, let's go ahead and correct that. All right, awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and introduce our first player here on the bottom left. He's the blue Terran player, hailing from Korea, playing for Good Game Gaming, looking to tie up the series. Can he do it? It is a dream. And playing for the team of Dragon Phoenix Gaming, he is the red Terran player, rocking out with the happy star. It is Keir. Look at how happy that star is. So cute. What does Keir has? Oh, he has a scary skull, as you can see. So one is happy, one is more terrifying. We shall see who will win the day. Of course, Dream has a little bit more work to do, as he is down 2-3. Oh, nice little command center block here. A little bit annoying for Dream. We'll have to reposition that command center, but nicely done there by Keir, being as annoying as possible with that SCV. But of course he needs to retreat, as the Reaper will pop out. 2 minutes is around the time the Reaper pops out, so you want to go ahead and retreat your SCV a little bit quicker, as the Reaper is a little bit faster than this SCV. So want to go ahead and retreat ahead of time a little bit, of course. Now, if you're Protoss, on the other hand, you can kind of keep around a little bit and then recall if need be. But the question is, do you want to use that energy to recall a probe, or do you want to use it to chrono boost out your adept or your nexus probes? So that's kind of the question you have to ask yourself. Little bit poke here. Not going to find too much, as Dream has 2 Reapers of his own. And yeah, we're going to head into a 1-1-1 build by both players once again. And of course that's usually the opening the majority of the time in TPT. Rarely you will see anything else, because 1-1-1 build is extremely versatile. It can kind of branch out to many different branches. So you will often see in TVT a 1-1-1 opening by both players, assuming they don't go for like a straight out cheese, like a 4 racks opening of some sort. But on the other hand, we do see a little bit of a skirmish here. Keir is going to have to back out for the time being, as the reinforcement point for Dream gives him the defender's advantage. Oh, but he does find a discrepancy, as there are 4 Reapers here for Keir compared to the 3 or so of a Dream. We'll go ahead and take out some of them. And oh man, are we going to have a snowball effect here? Okay, I think finally, once the Cyclone is out, he should be able to clean the rest up. But we'll go ahead and take out some of these SCVs as much as possible, doing as much damage before he dies out. And 9 SCVs going down. Keir is just so good with his micro. But as you've seen in the last game, Dream had some nice micro on his own, was able to kill a lot of SCVs. This game around, Keir also taking down a bunch of SCVs in the early game. But again, it comes down to the execution, how you finish the game. Because as we saw in the last game, Dream was ahead, and Keir was able to just abuse him and sneak the victory out of his hands. Let's see if this is the other game, the vice versa game, where Dream is behind, but with a nice timing attack can possibly turn this game around. This is definitely a tall order, as Keir is a really strong player. Alright, let's take a look at the units lost tab here. As you can see, 13 SCVs going down, none going down for Keir. So much more resources lost for our blue Terran player. But I like what Dream is doing. He's trying to do some economic harass here, but unfortunately does come across the mighty Cyclone. Will lose a Raven for it. And boy, what do we have here? 10 SCVs being gone. Oh wait, did I miss something? I think I did miss something. Ah, might have had a second auto turret that was lost. I'm not quite sure. I apologize for that. I was focused on the Cyclone Raven battle at the left side that I completely forgot about the right side. And all of a sudden, losing 10 workers there, the game is much more closer. Worker supply still in favor of Keir, but a lot more closer than a minute ago, right? The thing that I'm afraid of for Dream, though, is that he does have an extra... Keir does have an extra Raven here, which means more interference matrix, more auto turrets during the engagement. That could actually... that could be the turning point, or the marking of the flag points. But with these siege up tanks and this bunker, looks like Keir is not ready to pounce on this base. Alright, Keir is just gonna go ahead and scan here, see what's up here at the Natural. Does he want to jump on in here? Or does he just want to go for the contain? I think he should just go for the contain here. Maybe park the tank spread around. Although this is a much more wide open natural area compared to, let's say, Pillars of Gold. So it'll be more harder for him to do the contain, as the SCVs will be able to be more spread out if he decides to pull the SCVs, of course. But yeah, these Ravens are getting really high in energy. Where's the other Raven? Oh, he has one Raven at the backside. Huh. Might want to go ahead and join up that other Raven with his main army. Alright, a little bit of a posturing by both players, but Keir is gonna be able to find an opening here at the ramp, and the Dream not able to fully go onto the top side. Remember, this is his starport production, so he's gonna have to force a liftoff, unfortunately. And oh, these Vikings might actually get the snipe. Oh man, he does get the snipe on that starport, which means less Viking production. And the air advantage is going to go ahead and into Keir's advantage in the next couple of minutes or so. Luckily for Dream, there's no medevac to leapfrog these tanks, but Dream's army, his building production is under fire, so this is not great news for Dream. And as you can see, the overall supply pulling ahead here for Keir, as he is doing significant damage with this attack. More and more SCVs going down, and at this stage he cannot afford to lose any more SCVs, as he's already behind on the economy. And boy, this is looking like quite a dire situation for a Dream. Oh man. Putting salt on the wound. He is going to go and fly on here with the rest of his army with these medevacs, completely obliterating the rest of the tanks. There's still 2 more tanks in the bottom ground, low ground, but they're going to get sniped out by Keir, and Keir is going to take the 4-2 lead and put himself in a match points position. So he's 1 game away from clinching the series. Dream is going to have to pull himself together, play 2 solid game to tie up the series, and potentially a 3rd straight win in order to even win this series. But yeah, this is looking pretty good for Keir. And the last map will be on Romanticide, as Cynical Death stated early on. Simon AJ Roddy says in the chat, looks like Keir is more experienced in long best of battles. He does go fight Maru and TY and GSL when that does happen. Looks like it's an experience advantage, mind game in the war as well as tactics. And you know what? I 100% agree. Keir does have a lot of experience at the highest level of stages. Dream, of course, does have a good amount of experience on his own. But yeah, I think on paper, I would say Keir is a little bit of a better player compared to Dream. I will put Keir in the tier 1 Korean Terrans, while I put Dream in the tier 2 Korean Terrans group. So yeah, I think Keir does on paper at the very least have the advantage in terms of being the stronger player. But who knows, Dream might be able to go Super Saiyan and possibly crawl himself out of this hole. Let's go ahead and update the scoreboard 4-2, and let's introduce our players for potentially the last time. Here, spawning at the top left, is the blue Terran player, representing the team of Good Game Gaming. It is it is Dream. Excuse me. Destin1 in the chat saying Keir is I think you meant far way ahead of Dream success-wise. And yeah, under the accomplishments in the Wikipedia page, you will see that Keir does have much more accomplishments compared to Dream, in terms of like the major tournaments and the premier tournaments. So yeah, definitely, absolutely, Keir does have much more achievements under his belts. But speaking of Keir, here at the bottom right is the red Terran player playing for Dragon Phoenix Gaming. He's 1 game away from winning this series. It is Keir. And oh my goodness, guys, what do we have here? What do we have here? Oh my god, it's gonna get scouted, unfortunately. Oh man, what an incredible scout! Immediately throwing down that bunker. This was a man. If he did not get scouted, how sexy would this victory been? Oh man, you know, he still might actually get the victory even though he got scouted. This Marauder is about to pop out very soon. If he can kind of clear out this Reaper and stop this SCVs from making a bunker, he might possibly be able to make this still work, although he is going to get surrounded. Oh my god, that Marauder is... Okay, finally gets surrounded. But the good thing about Marauders is that they get tickled by these Marines. So he's just going to go bypass this bunker with this Marauder and just focus fire on these Marines. Oh, doesn't quite catch that last Marine. So this Marine will be able to go into the bunker, into safety. Oh, but unfortunately, once again, letting that Marauder slip on by. Okay, there we go. Get this around. Get this around. All right. I think now Dream is breathing a little bit easier this time around. Keir might just want to go start transitioning to the latter stages. This is not going to get any much more damage done. Let's see here. Overall, 4 Marauders for 3 Marines, 1 Reaper, and 2 SCVs. Simon AJ Rally in the chat saying both have done the military service, I believe. I don't quite recall. I don't think Keir. I don't think Keir has done his military service yet. I might be mistaken there. Dream, I am not sure as well, but I don't recall him doing the military as well. He might have done it in the early ages, but Dream hasn't really been a name until like the past few years, so he might have gone to the military earlier on, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Here, on the other hand, I'm pretty sure he hasn't done his military service. I don't recall him kind of coming back, so. Okay, so. Okay, Simon saying, confirming Dream has done his military service. Okay, so that's good. He doesn't need to take a break from SC2. He can continue on. It's really hard, guys, to stop playing SC2 for such a long time and then try to come back and win at the highest of stages against players that has been playing constantly. And so it's better, I would say, to get your military service done, and then, you know, once you hit your prime, you know, it can start. You don't have to take a break on any unnecessary breaks there. So good on him for completing his military service. Ooh, some nice little micro 3 cyclones, and Dream is going to go ahead and try to rely on this auto turret, but the range here is so good for Keir. This tank siege will finally be able to scare these cyclones away. But this Banshee, will he get some SV? I think there's enough energy here for an auto turret or two. Yeah, I think he's just biding his time here. A little dance with this Banshee and Raven. And finally does take it down. It was such an annoying Banshee here for Dream. And let's see here, units lost tab. Seems like a bit more minerals lost by Dream compared to Keir, but on the other hand, a little bit more gas lost by Keir, largely because he did go for that Marauder proxy, which does require some gas investments. But all in all, a pretty even game thus far. And again, Keir doesn't quite have to win this game. He's at match point. He can't afford to lose 2 games. It's going to be up to Dream to hunker down and somehow, some way, pull the win here on Romanticide. This is the 7th game, so whoever, if Keir does lose, is going to be able to choose any ladder map. But this is a TVT, so you know, ladder maps choices not going to be really important because they're the same races. So when you're the same race, you're going to be having the same advantages and disadvantages on a particular map. So map choice is not the most important in mirror matchups. We got Stim and Combat Shield finishing up here for Dream. Does Keir has... Oh wait, no. As I just glanced over, it looks like Keir has gone full-on mech. Guys, we're gonna have our first full-on mech game by Keir, and that kind of has me a little bit jiggly. You don't really often see a lot of mech games. I mean, Gumaho is onto the military service. I would say like Gumaho is the most prevalent Terran player to go on mech, full-on mech in TVT. A lot of Terran players usually just go for the standard tank into Marine. So whenever we can get ourselves a mech game, that is always awesome. And of course, hence the sensor towers, because the one of the more important things for mech play is to make sure you have great positioning, make sure you don't get dropped here and there, left and right, and also make sure you don't get out positioned by your opponents, because your opponent's most likely going to have a tank himself. And here we go. Keir is going to go ahead and, oh my god, that rock, that is like rock abuse right there. That rock went down so quickly against these tanks. These tanks are working off a +1 attack. And let's see here. That is a total of 13 tanks compared to the 3 of Dream. Guys, I'm not quite sure Dream is going to be able to hold on to this position. And he might need to pull the boys. Oh, actually, you know what? He does have 2 Ravens at the top side. He might do the interference matrix on 2 of the tanks. Oh, actually, those full energy Ravens. So he might actually get 4 interference matrix. All right, here we go. Boys are being pulled. Interference matrix on the back end of those tanks. And a nice little concave will be able to take out the majority of these tanks, but a lot of SCVs going down, mind you. But the rest of these tanks does goes down, and that resets the army of Dream, or I'm sorry, resets the army of Keir. And Keir is gonna have to, might actually potentially need to fall back here to the planetary. This is Dream's I guess a point to start doing some damage. This is his period, because again, he lost a lot of SCVs. Now, mind you, he is making a lot of SCVs towards the left and right side, so he can potentially crawl himself back in this game. And he's not quite, actually, he's not that far behind in the worker count. So yeah, I think he's sitting pretty happy. He does have the upgrade lead, 2-2 versus the 1-1. He's going to shut down this command center here. It's a nice pick off. So yeah, things not looking too shabby here for Dream. I mean, on this wide open map of Romanticide, he can kind of abuse his mobility towards his top side and start dropping down to the bottom side. That bottom base of Keir is pretty vulnerable. So I would like to see him kind of pull some of his army there. And oh, what a nice concave here on top of these tanks. And these Hellions not going to be able to protect these tanks. And Dream finding a vulnerability to pounce on top of Keir's army. And again, once again, resetting the tank count. Whenever you can reset the tank count of a meching army, that is always a plus. And we might actually see a little bit of a snowball. This planetary, though, is actually adding some nice firepower and helping out with these tanks. But again, another tank going down. How many tanks has gone down throughout this game? God, my goodness. 22 tanks killed so far in this 13-minute game. So I guess about a tank or 2 tanks per minute. All right, income advantage has been pretty even. Army size growing though for Dream, but gotta keep in mind that a lot of his army is in those bio units in Marine and the Marauders. If he's not careful, he might let Keir just like slide back in here. I mean, he's still making these tanks, so he's gonna have to attack very soon. And I like this. He is dropping right now into the third base, but mainly into the main base, pulling the army of Keir to the main. This might have an opening to the third base, but a lot of tanks still there, so he's not going to be able to dive on in here. But at the very least, might be able to get some SCVs. The rest of these medevacs has gone down to these Vikings, so these Marauders are stuck, and we'll have their impending doom. So not the greatest trade there by Dream. But you know what? I'm not mad. I mean, he needed to kind of abuse the mobility of his units. I think the problem is that he's not transitioning out of these bio units, these tier 1 units. With the lead that he had, I would have loved to see him start going for air army. You know, start throwing down a bunch of starports. But you know what? He still might be able to have enough Marauders to clean this up. He's got 3/3 upgrade, and that's spelling great for a Dream. Not a lot of medevacs to heal these armies, so he gotta make sure not to overstim. But once again, keeping the tank count very low, and that's very important. Alright, so I like what Dream is going for. He is clearing out some of these rocks, creating more potential pathways to get more, I guess, more of a concave if he wants to do so. As much wide open spaces is good for a bio army versus a mech army. So here we go. Once again, Dream's going to go ahead and dive on in here. But these sensor towers, very crucial for Keir to make sure his army positioning doesn't have any holes in them. But Dream still being pretty active, still being aggressive, making sure that Keir doesn't go crazy in terms of his economy. Although that 3 o'clock base is going to be established and going to be fortified safely. Alright, once again, Dream going for another drop here. Only one turret, so not a lot to deny this drop, but with the reinforcements, going to be able to clean up the rest of these army of a Dream. And yeah, it seems like the momentum has shifted towards Keir's side. There's still a lot of Marauders here, but again, not a lot of Vikings, not a lot of medevacs. Once again, stemming here, taking out 7 SCVs, but to be honest, 7 SCVs not that critical, especially with the amount of command centers. And he still has 71 SCVs, so 3 bases fully saturated at the very least. Now the upgrades though has caught up here for Keir, so yeah, it seems like slowly but surely Keir is edging out. It's never a good thing when you're the bio unit against a mech army and you're the one down in the overall supply. That is never a good thing. That's kind of being like having Roach army and you're down in the army supply and the overall supply. That's not a good sign, guys. Alright, it seems like after suffering a flurry of attacks by Dream, it seems like Keir has finally decided that this might be the time to go for a counterattack. But look at here, you have a really great 360 surround by Dream, catching some of the reinforcement too. A nice maneuvering around, but he does stem with no medevac, so he's got to be careful. not to overextend there, but catching a lot of the reinforcement. That's a great pickoff. And it seems like Dream is going to go for the base trade. And you know what? That's not a bad call. He still needs 6 tanks and 2... no, sorry. 6 doors to contend with. But at the very least, he did actually clean up a lot of the reinforcement. Clears up this base here. If he can kind of get a nice surround, a 360 surround, with the reinforcements coming down the main and also the rest of his army, he might be able to clean this up. But still, that's a lot of tanks and a lot of doors. They're so beefy. It's going to be really tough for Dream to clear this out. Let's see if he can do so. This is he's going to have to do so because he is again at match point. If this does not clears out the rest of Keir's army, then that is pretty much GG. Keir will be our champion. And as you can see, he is kind of biding his time, getting as much army as he can before engaging. Oh no, he doesn't have quite enough units to even deny the rest of the reinforcements, so he's not going to quite have that 360 surround here. Oh, actually has a lot of Ravens. Okay, this interference matrix might be the trump card. And oh man, a lot of these tanks gone down, but a lot more here at the back. A nice pre-spread here. Is it enough? It's going to be really close. More Hellions streaming on by. He might have to actually pull the SCV. Oh no, these SCVs are actually running away from these Hellions. And I think Keir has done this. There's just so much production, army production here for Keir. And it's coming to a point where it's snowballing. 17 SCVs, 18 SCVs going down during that fight. And Dream knows it. Keir has done it. He will take this game 7 win with a 5-2 victory. Congratulations.